When we're road testing, we don't tend to ride in a big hail of acceleration and gears and brakes. We tend to ride smooth, and when you do ride smooth, it's easier to feel what the bikes are like, what the characters are like, especially when you're testing bike to bike to bike to bike. And if you've observed the road ahead and you've sensed what's going on, you don't really need to brake that hard anyway. A lot of people ask how many fingers you need for braking. A lot of it depends on the bike and if you're riding on the road or the track. So for example, if I'm riding on the track, I'll use 2 fingers, normally these 2 fingers, because you can get a lot of grip, a lot of power through it. But on the road, I brake completely differently. I'll use these 2 fingers here. Now, the reason I do that is because you're using the part of the lever where there's more leverage. You're not actually right near the pivot point where it's hard to get any bite. And also you can have the lever closer to the bar. And when you've got the lever closer to the bar, it's easier to be more delicate and have more finesse over the brake lever, especially as you're starting to feed it off and lean into a corner. So the transition from acceleration to brakes should be very, very smooth. So the idea is to roll off the throttle, and as you're rolling off the throttle, you grab the brake lever, wait for the weight to transfer to the front of the bike so you've got lots of grip, and only at that point where you can start to squeeze the lever a little bit harder.
Hi, I'm Chris from Bikertech, and we have these amazing performance parts. And though we can't be on the road with you right now, I'd like you to check out our online store to hear the story behind each of them.
The second half to braking, which a lot of people tend to forget, is when to let go of the brakes. Letting go of the brakes and bleeding them off is as important as actually grabbing them in the first place. So on the road, it's all about letting go of the brake lever and just letting the brakes gently off so you can keep the bike nice and stable as you turn into a corner. The other big difference between road and track is not to hang on to the brakes for too long as you start to lean into a corner. So I would always make sure I've let go of the brakes completely just as I'm starting to turn in. A lot's talked about the back brake of motorcycles. So you would think that it's pretty much redundant because you've got 2 massive brake discs at the front and 1 tiny one at the back. But in actual fact, I live on the back brake. There's loads of reasons for that, and none of them are really for stopping power because the fronts give you all you need. I use the back brake really to steady the bike, to keep it stable, and also to take the pressure off my arms. So when you're riding for a long day, you get less fatigued. So I introduce the back brake at the same time as the front, but just really gently. I'm not stamping on it, I'm just kind of brushing the rear brake lever, and the pressure you put down on the lever depends on your bikes because some are better than others. So I will have the back and the front brake on together, and as I start to bleed off the front, I'll also start to bleed off the rear. But one of the advantages of hanging on to the rear as you turn into the corner is that it helps the bike turn sharper.
Bikertech, a range of performance parts for bikers. Introducing our high-grade chromium universal ball joint. Every piece a one-off, built for life from the finest chromium alloy. Bespoke fitted, which makes it perfect for reconnecting femurs to damaged hip joints. These are parts we don't want you to have, because bikes repair easier than bikers. See the range at bikertechshop.co.uk.